What is up, guys? Speed here, and today we are going to be looking at about the first 10 minutes of Secret.Nisha and his Storm Spirit gameplay. I really want to focus on individual creeps in the lane, his rotations, and basically look at it so that you guys can see how you can put it in your own games. This is something I did a while ago with Thompson, where I really analyzed all of his little movements on Monkey King, and you guys seemed to like that video, so I'm going to try to do the same exact thing here, except with Nisha and Storm Spirit. In fact, he's even against Thompson, so he's against a top tier laner. How does he deal with it? How does he apply pressure? We're going to answer those questions today. So yeah, if you're excited for this video, I would appreciate it if you could click the like button to help our channel grow and to make the video do well, as YouTube and the algorithm is my boss. So if you could click the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, I would appreciate that a ton. And of course, you guys know the next announcement. I do just want to give you guys a heads up on a couple things. I will be doing another mid guide. Not going to tell you which hero it is yet, but go check it out. I recommend you sign up to the gameleap website so you can get access to that guide when it does come out. And for everyone who is subscribed, keep your eyes out for a mid guide. I've been doing a couple of support things lately. A lot of support video. I done a Windranger support, Oracle, 2 videos just on laning, like the first 10 minutes, kind of like this type of video for supporting. And I think you're going to enjoy it a ton if you go click the link down below right now and go check it out. Alright, getting into it, let's take a quick look at the block, because I know there are people who really do care about, the mid lane block. So number one, he starts from the right side of the tower on Radiant. This is on Radiant, to be clear, and then is going to start going back and forth. Obviously, whenever a creep is starting to shift forward, he's going to go to it. So it's a left, right movement, slowly knocking them back. You can see he's not trying to do it extreme, right? He's always moving forward as well. And a lot of players get this wrong in their block. They go from left to right instead of left and up, right and up, left and up, right and up. The next thing he's going to do is instantly ship out a set of tangos. Now, I don't think the salve is necessarily bad, but I believe that he feels like this is a kill lane, or a very even lane. What I think this implies is that if he can constantly keep his HP topped up, he can fully zone out Thompson, right? Which is a big deal. If you can fully zone out your opponent, which in this case is a Void Spirit, obviously you should always look at your matchup, it is very good to buy tangos just to make sure you're always topped off, like constantly topped off, or salve, sometimes you'll wait a little bit, right? You'll play a wave with half HP. Tangos, you're trying to stay as high as possible so that you can apply constant pressure. And now let's get into this lane. So, number one thing he's going to recognize, range creep shifts up. Well, actually he's going to take a Sentry Ward. He's getting a D ward. Luckily, his support did that for him. But nonetheless, he sees that the range creep is dying. How do you address that as Storm Spirit? Well, what you want to do is shift to the left, right? He reacts to Thompson's movement to the right side, very briefly, pops a Remnant, and then hits it to secure the creep. And this is a lot of intuition, but the big thing there is that if you can kill the range creep right away as Storm Spirit, because the matchup isn't too bad, it instantly puts you at an advantage where you'll likely hit level 2 first, and you can shove the wave into Thompson's tower and hopefully get denies over there, which we'll see in a moment. Next up here, he's going to start hitting Thompson, right? Does pull aggro, hits, pulls it back. A really good sequence to avoid taking damage. Anytime you're trying to bully your opponent, this is a great way to do it, especially if the wave is in the middle of the river. Hit them, pull it back, and then you can shift forward again. So you're actually going to see he's auto-attacking the creeps here. That is because you clearly can understand his goal, right? Hitting Thompson, hitting creeps, he's trying to shove the lane. That's how you do it. Then, instead of last hitting, because Thompson is pushing up to consider denying the creeps, he's going to use the Q to last hit. And this is how you bully people when you have nukes. It could be Puck Orb, it could be Raise, it could be Scream of Pain, it doesn't matter. But basically, if you have a nuke, you can just hit the opponent when they're coming up for the deny, instead of actually going for the deny. And he's actually considering doing it here. Hitting Thompson, does want to secure the creep, so he didn't continue to hit Thompson, just really good attention to the creep and Thompson at the same time. And that's something these pros can always do at a high level. They can pay attention to the low HP creep and to their opponent at the same exact time. Now, getting into the under tower situation, because he's against a melee hero, he can instantly hit him. Even though he is under the tower range, as long as there is a creep in front, and you are not hitting Thompson when the tower is switching aggro, you will be okay. Getting into it next up, this is a very clear creep grief. Unfortunately, Thompson is an absolute god and hit it basically frame perfect, but whenever you push the wave underneath the opponent's towers, it's actually really, really easy to deny, right? So anytime there's a creep where he can get in range for the deny, he will contest it, because if you do under tower, there's almost an 100% chance you will either deny the creep or simply grief the last hit, which is also beneficial. And you're going to see this constant pressure under tower. A lot of players get scared when they're under tower, and you can tell that Nisha is not that. So there's two things going through his brain right now. Range creep and melee creep. Which one does he go for? In this case, he's going to secure the range creep with a overload charge because he doesn't want to overextend, right? He does not want to overextend. And then he's going to walk back and secure the other one with his auto attack. Upcoming here, we have a very small efficiency, but I really like it. And honestly, small efficiencies is how, like, if you don't maximize them, or come close to maximizing them at this level, you'll get stomped in lane. So, Nisha has two options here. Hit Thompson, or get the last hit. The problem is, this last hit is already out of range. If Thompson is paying any attention to the creep, which he obviously will, he's gonna get the deny. So instead, Nisha doesn't even worry about it, and gets two auto attacks off on Thompson, which is value. On top of that, he makes this interesting play here, where he doesn't even bother with the deny, and simply gets another auto attack off. Why? Because Thompson pulled aggro. It would cause Nisha to overextend if he would go too far, right? Maybe Thompson could pull him up. And he realizes Thompson is a Quelling Blade melee hero, and denying is difficult, right? Also, Void Spirit has a pretty good attack animation, so in general, it is difficult. Upcoming here, we have a very important situation. So after bullying Thompson up to high ground, he gets him to about half HP. And this is how you really play to your advantage. Because he hit him 4 times there, instead of going for a last hit or deny, now he can win the next 2 or 3 creeps. And that's what a lot of players don't understand. You can intentionally give up creeps. In his situation, it wasn't really intentional. He didn't have an option for the first last hit / deny. But in this case, because he's able to zone him out, now he can walk onto the high ground. Of course, he has to consider Thompson's skill build, which is obviously going to include an Aether Remnant if he walks under tower, and Thompson was even holding the point to see if this would come up. As you can see, Thompson, as Nisha is walking under tower, skills the Q, because he recognizes that he wants it for this situation. Nisha reading this though, and being the top tier player that he is, pops a Remnant, sidesteps it, and almost gets the last hit as well. Obviously he's able to secure it here. Thompson slightly oversteps, Nisha recognizes that and continues to hit him. On top of that, he's really going to hardcore bully Thompson to guarantee that he gets punished when overextending for the creep. And yeah, that's just really advanced trading coming out from Nisha. You have to keep into equation what spells do they have to use on you, and if you can think about that and dodge them, whether or not it's an SF raise or a puck orb, and get the trade in your favor by paying so much attention to your opponents, you can win the lane, even against people like Thompson. The next thing I want to point out is that at the 2 minute and 50 second mark here, he's bought another salve. And this is him adjusting to the lane. He wants to play aggressive, he feels like he can body Thompson on the lane because Thompson was out of regen, and he's been naturally going aggressive overall. The only thing I don't fully understand about Nisha's gameplay here is that he doesn't take his pull. I personally feel like pull is really good against melee heroes, but I guess in his opinion, he feels like he can just zone Thompson off the wave by maxing out his Q and his E. So Thompson ends up getting his bottle here, which is another thing that I think Nisha realized was going to happen. If Thompson got an earlier bottle than Nisha, and Nisha doesn't ship out extra regen, there's a chance that Thompson can actually fully kick him out of lane. And that's how you win the lanes. It's not necessarily by killing people. It's often about out-regenning them to the point where you can dominate an entire creep wave. What I mean by dominate an entire creep wave is get 4 last hits and 4 denies. That is worth far more than a kill in all circumstances, because even if you don't kill them, then they either have to walk back to base or buy more regen, which hurts their net worth. The next thing I'd like to point out is a small efficiency thing, but I want to make sure that all of you guys are still doing it if you've forgotten about it, and that is anytime you have a bottle and you're backing up, right, there's no creeps, there's no fighting, he puts his null, and he could have put his circlet away as well, but he didn't in this case, he will in the future, but he puts his null away before popping the bottle. Sure, it can affect him for this first creep, right, but nonetheless, it's a really good way to get more efficiency out of your bottle. Next thing you're going to notice here is that he considered contesting the 4 minute rune, but you're going to see him back off. Now, why does he back off, right? Why does he back off? There's 2 reasons. Thompson's level 5, so Thompson's a higher level than Nisha, right? He's even holding his point and seeing if he wants to take Dissimulate to dodge something. And Thompson has a stun and he doesn't, right? So he can't even secure the rune. It's not like he can pull, he didn't skill it. So there's no point for him to actually run over to try to contest it. Also, what is really advanced, and something I almost missed when I was first looking at it, is I think he was trying to stay in range of the creep that was dying so he could hit level 5 right before the rune. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, right? He didn't get it at that point, but I really do believe that was his perspective. He moved back just to try to get into range, and because he didn't have a stun. I think it was a combination between the two. Unfortunately, the rune is getting contested, so he's not able to get it for his bottle. That's very standard for high MMR games. But if it's not, and both of you have a bottle, you need to just 50-50 to rune, right? You need to force the opponent to come over to you and fight you because getting the rune in a matchup where you both have bottles is lane ending. It straight up ends the lane. If you get a rune and they don't, it ends the lane. But nonetheless, at level 5 here, Nisha's going to start applying pressure to Thompson. The reason for that is very obvious. Thompson is out of resources, Nisha is not, and therefore he can bully him. There's not too much to think about. All you have to do on Storm Spirit is pull them in, hit him once with your first overload, and then pop your Remnant and then another overload charge to deal a bunch of damage. On top of that, he has his Salve here. Salve coming into clutch, he's able to pop the Salve, and now with his max HP, he can even potentially contest Thompson under the tower, which he sort of does here. It doesn't work out too well, but it's the thought that counts. Actually, no it's not, but it still matters. Next up at the 5-minute mark, he's going to make a really efficient stack, right? Going to stack this camp, hits it. Unfortunately, I think he actually just missed the stack. Noob! Everyone in the comment section, Nisha is trash. Clearly. But hopefully you guys get the point. This is a really efficient stack. I think you can do it on Dire as well with this camp. You stack, go to the bounty rune. Really efficient, especially for a hero like Storm Spirit. I mean, how great is that? You make a stack, and then you can farm it up, or you can go back to mid, depending on where the creep wave is. Thompson tries to contest him. He's just going to secure the creeps. And at this point, the lane, I mean, it can get very aggressive. As you can see, Nisha is actually starting to harass Thompson. Just a classic Storm Spirit combo, level 1 pull into a Remnant. Pretty standard stuff. Nothing too much to think about. If you're ever against a hero that you can bully, or if they walk in a range of you, you can basically use this combo. It costs very little mana and does an absurdly high amount of damage. Next up, I want to talk about one of the most advanced things I've seen, I'm not going to say in a while, but at least within this replay, and that is his decision on static Remnant here. So, what we're going to see is that Nisha goes for the pull, but then takes a step back. I think that's so he doesn't aggro the tower, right? You can see how he's moving and not popping Remnant. You see how he did that? It's because Nisha understands that when he pulls Thompson here, if he hits him, he's going to aggro the tower, and the trade completely falls apart. He'll have to use all of his mana to zip away, and then he can't outplay Thompson. But he wants to try to outplay Thompson here, it's very clear. So what does he do? He walks completely away, all the way over to his high ground. Thompson pulls him in, pretty natural for a Void Spirit. Then he's going to shift back, zip out of tower range. You can clearly see that this is his goal. And so as he pulls him back onto the tier 1 tower, we have another weird decision where he never actually commits the Remnant. I think the reason for this is he understands that Thompson is also paying attention to when he casts the Remnant. So Thompson has been saving his last astral step purely to dodge Remnant. And this is how advanced these fights really get. They're thinking about each other's spells, how do they dodge them, when they should do their damage, so that they can dodge them and do damage at the same time. It really does get that advanced, so Nisha, only at the last second here, commits his Remnant, and as you can see, Thompson goes for the dodge, which puts Nisha in a really bad situation. And yeah, that's really how advanced these fights get, because Nisha committed Remnant, right, he kind of fell for the bait. Thompson's able to run him down. Unfortunately, though, Nisha, with some really good movement, is able to dodge out the Aether Remnant, turns back for the pull, seeing that YapzOr is TPing in. Unfortunately, wasn't able to get the kill right off the bat, but now we got another advanced play. He pings that he's going to go onto the high ground, he sees Thompson walking back, and he's able to stay out of range and secure the kill. Beautiful. Alright, and upcoming here, we're going to see the first gank of the game. We'll be ending up this episode a little bit after this. I really just want to show you guys some of his early game rotations and what impact they actually have. So, first off, he's not ganking the Luna. I think the reason for this is that he feels like this Batrider is just a quicker kill, right? If Storm Spirit walks all the way to top right now, right, let's look at it from Nisha's perspective. If Nisha walks all the way top right now, it's going to take him a long time, but this trip to the Batrider not only shuts mid one's farm down, but it also allows Nisha to stay in his own jungle and continue to farm after the kill, which is a win-win, and you guys should always be thinking about this for your ganks. Who can I kill? How close are they to me? Are they paying attention to me? Do they have wards? Do I have a rune? Do I have enough mana? And in this case, he has the backup of Puppey, he has mid one overextending for the creep wave, and he's able to eventually come over and secure the kill. Now following that up here, we're going to see another very strong and clear decision from Nisha. He's going to shove in the mid wave. Obviously he's on in treads, going to shove it in as fast as possible. Actually did miss to the last hits, unfortunately. But he managed to get a rune bottom. Now with this rune bottom, it means he can gank bottom. And this is a really cool thing about Dota that I think more players should be considering. If you get a rune top, you should consider ganking top. If you get a rune bottom, you should consider ganking bottom. And this is purely for convenience. It really is. It also makes the gank a lot faster, which makes it harder to read. On top of that, what do we know about mid one, guys? We know that mid one just TP'd back to the lane, and because of that, if he dies again, his game is not over, but it is in a really bad spot. If you guys are an offlane player, or you play Dota in general, you understand how bad it feels to die without TP. And that's exactly what we're going to see here. He's coordinating with Matoma Man. You can obviously tell he's saying, hey, Matoma Man, let's kill this guy, right? And let's go on him, let's kill him. And that's exactly what we see. He's also on Agi Treads for the bonus 1 movement speed to get over to the fight quicker, switching over to Treads as he zips, pops his bottle mid-zip to make sure he has enough mana, even has a Clarity going to guarantee it, comes in, pulls, Overload, Remnant, dead. And all of a sudden, Nisha is having a good game, right? Nisha's having a good game, and mid one has no game. And really, this is one of the best ways to shut down lanes. Gank the same lane twice in a row, especially if you're able to get a rune close to that lane, right? That's a big advantage. But now, on top of that, they're able to shift Zion to take the tower, and frankly, this is very, very high MMR Dota. Do I expect this in your pubs? No. Not at all. I don't expect 3 cores to collapse at the 8-minute mark. I don't expect that at all. But I definitely do expect you guys to consider what Nisha did there, which is ganking the same lane twice in a row, especially considering he understands it's an easy kill as Min 1 was set behind. And that's going to be about all for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and learned some complex things about the early laning stage of top tier Dota. So anytime you tell yourself that you played the lane well or perfectly, just consider that there's things that you haven't even thought about that you could be doing better. So keep them in mind, try to learn from them, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Before you leave, just want to say a quick message. If you're trying to get better at Dota or you just enjoyed that video, I know this is pretty general, and you're going to hear this quite a bit from me. But I recommend you sign up to gameleap.com. Why? Because I put a lot of effort into the content over there, and generally the effort I do there is different from the content you're going to see here on YouTube. It's different. In fact, I usually go a lot more in depth on topics or into niche topics that help you get to the next level even faster. Because on YouTube, I often have to keep it more mainstream. That's even why I'm putting it at the end of this YouTube video. That's why this is at the end, because a lot of people just watch 5 minutes, they skip through just for like the dopamine spike. But if you are interested in actually getting better at Dota, I recommend you go to the description down below, get your discount right now by clicking the link, sign up, use the discount code that you're going to see there, and I hope to see you there right now. So click it, and yeah, thanks for watching.